Got more tonight in the new video that 360 obtained exclusively showing two eyewitnesses reacting to the Michael Brown shooting. This is cell phone video showing two contractors who were working the area when Brown was shot and killed by police officer Darren Wilson. Now, the man on the left says he saw Michael Brown staggering. Then he says Brown put his hands up and said, "Okay, okay, okay." The witness told us the cop didn't say, "Get on the ground." That's a quote. He just kept shooting. 360 spoke with the attorney for the man who shot that video. Randy Kay was first to show the exclusive video on the program last night. She joins me now live. So first of all, remind our viewers why this video might be so important.
Well, Anderson, if you look at it, it's real-time reaction. I mean, it's really raw. It's not hours or days later someone telling us what they saw. You can see the shock and the horror that these guys are feeling right after seeing, as they say, police officer Darren Wilson chase down Michael Brown and fatally shoot him right there in front of them. So let's play the video now. It's only about 15 seconds, and our viewers can judge for themselves here what happened. So as you heard right there, and as you can see, there are several different voices on that tape. One voice is that contractor in the pink T-shirt. You saw him, Anderson, put his hands up, illustrating that he saw Michael Brown with his hands up. We spoke to him and his coworker on the phone after we got the video. They didn't want to be identified, but the guy in the pink told us that they were close enough to see a really gruesome scene. He says, describing seeing Michael Brown's brains come out of his head. He also told us that Brown was staggering with his hands up, describing him, Anderson, like a walking dead man.
And what have you been able to learn about the guy who took the video?
Well, he's going by the name Chris, although we know that is not his real name. His attorney told us that he actually knew Michael Brown. In fact, he'd been talking to him right before the shooting. And now when he heard the gunfire, this guy Chris apparently ran inside, grabbed his iPad, according to his attorney, and started recording from his basement-level apartment. But here's what's interesting, though. Chris's attorney says that her client tried to show this video, Anderson, to the police at the scene, and they waved him off. They didn't want any part of it. That attorney also said that she gave the FBI the contractors' names and that footage. But the timing of the video, Anderson, also could be key here. The attorney for this guy, Chris, told us that he started videotaping just 40 seconds after he heard those gunshots. So this is real time.
All right, Randy, appreciate it very much. Back with me now is CNN senior legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin and Anthony Gray, an attorney for Michael Brown's family, Benjamin Crump's co-counsel. Jeff, you think this video is important?
I think it's very important. You know, trials have become a much more high-tech enterprise in recent years, and what you can see coming together here is a reconstruction that prosecutors, if this case goes to trial, of all the different witnesses. You could create a graphic of where all the witnesses were standing and look at what they saw and when they saw it and pull it all together. And so far, it seems, the narratives are basically very consistent. I mean, virtually all the witnesses who could see and have come forward that we know of say that Michael Brown was shot while his hands were in the air. If that's true, if all the witnesses say that Michael Brown was shot with his hands in the air, this could be a very damaging case against Officer Wilson.
Anthony, obviously you're attorney for the Brown family. You're working with Benjamin Crump. What do you make of this video?
The same thing. The significance of this video is huge. And I want you to think about this. This is just how major it is in my mind. When we go to war in other countries and against foreign combatants, and they throw their hands up in the air and you shoot that person, you could be charged with a war crime. We think that the laws in our own country should be the same. If in fact Mike Brown had his hands in the air moments before bullets were pumped into his body, it doesn't matter what happened at a video store. It doesn't matter what happened in his juvenile record. It doesn't matter what happened at the door of the police car. Nothing matters, just like it wouldn't matter if we were to invade a country and the person who was just about to blow your brains out threw his hands up in the air. What you are required to do is to take that person into custody peacefully, which is what we're saying should have happened in Mike Brown Jr.'s case.
Jeff, supporters of the police in this and other observers will say, well, look, there's still a lot of information we don't know. There's no forensic evidence at all that's in the public domain.
No, and frankly, one of the things I'm confused about in the different stories is, was Michael Brown actually shot in the front or in the back. And, you know, several of the bullets, as far as I'm aware, have not been found, bullets that missed him altogether. So it is true.
There was, according to the independent autopsy, the second autopsy that was done by Michael Baden, there was a shot that went back to front through one of the arms.
One of the arms, but only when the clothes are examined. That's when you're really going to be able to see which direction and how close, especially how close, Officer Wilson was when he fired the shots. But, you know, it is important, as I've said several times here, to keep an open mind about all the evidence that's out there, including stuff undoubtedly we haven't heard yet. But this video and this contractor's story is certainly very incriminating.
Anthony, is there any word on the schedule for the grand jury? I mean, weeks ago we were told that, you know, probably by sometime in October. Is that still the timeline you're understanding or thinking about?
Well, that's my understanding. That's the timeline. We don't have a fixed time that we know that a date certain where they're going to make an announcement. It can happen at any moment prior to that October deadline we were given. We just don't know. But can I just say this about the video? You know, we talk about other evidence coming in. I tell you this, if I have people that are saying the kind of things that we saw this guy saying on the video moments after the shooting, his hands were up when he was shot, I don't need anything else. What more do you need in a case like that? To me, it's disingenuous to say you need more evidence when you got eyewitnesses that are there that's telling you what they saw. So I believe them. There's nothing more for me to have in order to develop my belief, and that's what I'm going off on. That's why I'm lashed in on this case, and I'm attacking it like a bow and arrow.
Well, if I could just say, October is fast. You know, I know we're all very impatient here and we want everything resolved immediately. When you look at the number of witnesses and the amount of scientific tests that need to be done, October would be, I'm surprised, I would be surprised if they're done in October.
We'll see. Anthony Gray, thank you, Jeff Toobin, as well.